What's up, everyone? This is Tatum. I'm back with another episode of Off the Wall. For those that's new to my channel, this is my segment where I go through my record collection and go through some records I have and what they mean to me and why they're in my collection to begin with. So, today, I'm going to be talking about an album that, man, I know I said this a couple times already, but this album in my childhood, like, it changed everything. Not just for myself, but just for hip hop in general. This album changed anything, and I let people know, like, if you didn't live through this era, like, you probably wouldn't get it at all. Without further ado, today I'm gonna be discussing 50 Cent's Get Rich or Die Trying. Man, this album is just classic. Probably one of the biggest. Well, it is the biggest hip hop debut album of all time. One of the best hip hop albums of all time. One of the best albums that a debut artist has ever dropped. One of the best albums. Period. Like I said, if you lived in the time period where this album came out, it was extreme pandemonium, and just something that's only comparable to Beatlemania or Mike Jack Thriller, maybe. But like, this is, I remember being in middle school, and they had posters for this album, and poster for this album and things of that nature as incentives to come down and take a test, like the statewide test kind of thing. It's like, if you come down and just take it, we'll give you a 50 Cent poster and things of that nature. And like, kids were going down there strictly to get the poster. Like, it just shows you how big he was at the time. And it's just crazy that, like, my mother bought this album for me, and she bought one for herself. It dropped in February, I believe, and rang out for that whole summer. Was just crazy. So I'm gonna put this record down, and we're gonna get into it. Get Rich is one of those albums that come along every once in a blue moon. Every 10 years, pretty much, an album that everybody's just on consensus that this is great. 50 Cent's story is one of the greatest stories in hip hop, period, of being signed, getting shot 9 times before your big break, getting dropped, working the underground mixtape circuit to rebuild your buzz, and then drop a classic album. You know how much pressure that was, and to be signed to Eminem and Dr. Dre at the time is just, it's just insane. Like, it's just insane. So I'm going to go through a couple records on the album. There's 19 tracks on here. I'm just going to go through a couple records on here and just give my take on it and why they're so great and things of that nature, right? So the album starts with the infamous coin drop, right? And if you know this album, that coin drop is just so significant to just the aura, everything about this album. You hear that coin drop, and then boom, boom, boom. What up, blood? What up, cuz? What up, gangsta? Like, that song is just, we don't play that G-Unit, we don't play around. Like, that intro is one of the best hip hop intros of all time. I sit back, twist the best bud, burn and wonder when gangsters bump my shit. Can they hear my thunder? When the fifth kick duck quick, it sound like thunder. In December, I make your block feel like summer. The rap critics say I can rhyme. The fiend say my dope is a 9, and every chick I fuck with is a dime. I'm like, Pelly the Bell, nigga, I'm on my own. Where I lay my hat's my home. I'm a rolling stone. Cross my path, I crush you. You're thinking I won't touch it. I had your ass using a wheelchair, cane, or crutches. Man, that flow, his hunger just to open the album with that is just, like, they had to know that this was just gonna be crazy when he had so many great records that I'm pretty sure it was hard to even get down to 19, and this could have been a double disc album, right? If it was a double disc album, this album would have sold over 20 million records, 30 million records, close to. 19 records, you could have split that up into 2 discs. Going to Patiently Waiting. Obviously the best Eminem and 50 Cent collaboration. I think their collaborations are mostly hit and miss with me, but Patiently Waiting is just classic. just to like, I've been patiently waiting for a try to explode on. And Eminem's verse, he's describing like the creation of 50 Cent. Like you take some big and some Pac, you mix them up in a pie, sprinkle a little big out on top, and what do you got? You got the realest and illest killers tied up in the knot, the juggernauts of this rap thing, like it or not. Or 50 Cent verse is one of the best 50 Cent verses ever. Something missing in my head like a baby born dead. Destination heaven. I sit in politic with passengers from 9/11. The Lord's blessings leave me lyrically inclined. Shit, I ain't even got to try to shine. God's a seamstress who tailor fitted my pain. I got scriptures in my brain. I can spit at your dame. Straight out the good book. Look, niggas is shook. 50 fit no man warrior. Swing swords like Conan. Pen in hand, write lines, knowing the source of quoted. When I die, they'll read this and say a genius wrote it. He said, I grew up without my pop shit. That made me bitter. I caught cases, I cop doctors. That made me a quitter. Come on, man. The impact that 50 Cent had on my life at that time and just everyone pretty much is just like, when I say like my favorite rappers are blah 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 blah, and I get to 50 Cent, and people always give me the scrunchy face like 50 Cent, I'm like, oh, you didn't live in the era. You don't understand. You couldn't possibly understand how amazing this shit was. Like to go on that mixtape run and then go into this classic album and drop like, come on, man. G-Unit album, The Massacre, Give Rich Die Trying soundtrack, a video game, Vitamin, like it's so power. BMF right now. It's so much great shit that came along with the introduction of this album. It's just insane. And you go into Mini Man, probably one of his greatest record of all time, just to touch on all the stuff that he went through with the shooting incident. And I remember that when the video came out for Mini Man, it only played on BT Uncut. So you had to stay up to 3 something in the morning to even see the video before. I guess it was too graphic for the times, but now it's on YouTube and everything like that. But like you had to stay up to 3 a.m. to even see the Mini Man video, which is crazy. I would love to see those numbers for that Uncut, just to see like, yeah, in the club. And it's funny that it was a story that and in the club, before I get into that, in the club is Dr. Dre's biggest record on the charts. Crazy. Read a story that to pick the first single, everything was just so great that they flipped a coin for If I Can't in the club. Like they was just like, well, I don't know which one of these, both of these records are hits. And If I Can't, I think it was a single, but it wasn't pushed so much. Because you got to think like the promotion for the album kind of halted because he went straight into the G-Unit album came out in November. This dropped in February, went on that run for the spring, summer, fall. Well, by fall it was G-Unit Records and the G-Unit album Beg for Mercy time. So Get Rich kind of life got cut short in the process. An album like this is supposed to last the artist for at least 2 or 3 years. I mean, it did for him 2 years because Massacre came out in 05. But he could have still been going on this album till 06. like this album is so mega that he didn't really have to drop anything after this. You know what I mean? So In the Club, there's nothing more I can say about that. How the Times, one of my favorite records on here. I just love 50 Cent. Something that people don't bring up a lot, but 50 Cent is a great songwriter and he has great song structure, especially on this album. So like if you think of How the Time, like he starts it with a hook in itself, like a bridge in itself. So he's like, every time I roll up, nigga gotta roll up, then I tell them, hold up, you ain't getting money, you ain't walking in my Benzo, 20-inch Lorenzo, smoking on Endo. Like he goes into that melodic cadence, and then I shoot the dice, I holler, get him girl, daddy need new shoes, daddy need Parettis, look mean on 22, stash box, Xbox, laptop, fax machine, phone, bulletproof this bitch and I'm gone. 2003 Suburban swerving, too many sips of Henny, the D6, they searched the whip and they can't find the semis. Like he just went into a whole thing, and then he said, I think it was the last verse. I done made myself hot, so ain't shit you could tell me. Now niggas calling me for features, man. Fuck your money. Like I ain't heard, and I'm alright. Like he was so, man, fuck all y'all niggas. Y'all shitted on me. Y'all outcast me from the rap industry, and I did this shit on my own, which would make it seem, which is understandable why in his run he didn't really work with a lot of people outside his clique, because everybody fucking shunned him away. Like nobody was giving him a helping hand. And now that I'm the biggest shit since sliced bread, y'all want to jump back on my dick. Nah, fuck your features. I ain't hurting for money. I'm doing good. Or the line where he says, if David can go against Goliath with a stone, I can go with Nas and Jigga both for the throne. Like those lines like that. just fucking insane. If I can't just, and Dr. Dre lacing with such great production on this album, from In the Club to I Can't to uh, uh, Heat. Heat is just a record. The beat is just gunshots. It's just a gun clicking. And that was supposed to be a Rakim beat. Like 50 was taking those Rakim beats D12 was supposed to have In the Club. He was taking all these beats that people just didn't know what they did with to do with it. And he only spent 3 or 4 days with Dr. Dre and did his parts. So In the Club, If I Can't, Heat, Back Down. Deshaun Porter did P.I.M.P, but I think Dre mixed that and had a hand in that as well. And it's just great records, man. P.I.M.P, which is fucking classic record in itself. Bloodhound. Like Bloodhound's a cool record. Just the fact that he says, I love to pump crack, love to squeeze gas, but you don't hear me though. Like, that was the hook. Like, I love busting my gas, love selling crack. Like, that was the hook of the record. And it was just, when it through my crib to holler at the kid, that's when I start bringing them things out. Like, it's just a great record. Like My Style. And it's just, he was on so many different type of beats. Like My Style to 21 Questions to Poor Little Rich, was one of my favorites. I let my watch talk for me, my whip talk for me, my gut talk for me. Bow, what up, homie? My watch saying, hi, shorty, we could be friends. My wheel saying, quit playing, bitch, get in. My earring saying, we can hit the mall together. Shorty, it's only right that we ball together. Like, he had that, unfortunately, the shot in his face made him have like a draw, like a southern draw, so he could have like, my earrings saying we can hit the mall together. Like, he could do stuff that it set him apart from the average New York sounding guy or rapper at the time. So like, and I remember funny story, I remember, like, it was like a movie. Like, I remember because Wankster came out a while before the album even dropped. And I remember I was leaving my aunt's house and my cousin was playing the album with Wankster. And I just remember, like, leaving out the house, closing the door, and hearing Wankster. And I'm like, what was that? What was that? No, what was that? Like, I don't know what that song is. I want to hear some more. So when I heard it later, I was like, that's it. That's the song I was looking for. Mixtapes and shit. That's the song I've been looking for my whole life. Fun times. Back Down was like the finisher of the Murder Inc. shit for me. Like, after all the mixtape dishes and things of that nature, Back Down was like the straw that broke the camel's back. It was just the final blow. Like, it was over after that. Oh, to go back, Heat is also one of my favorite records, is because you can hear the fun on that record. Just the fact of just, like, the part of the end where he talks about, like, Dre, you got me feeling real bulletproof in this motherfucker. Like, you can hear the fun of a brand new artist in that record. Or but the doc said if I get hit, I might get a fucking concussion. Well, better that than the hole in the head, right, nigga? Like, that funness that was just in there. It was just a great album, man. Don't Push Me is another great record. That was probably like, I hate to say this, but probably like the grand scale of the world listening to Lloyd Banks, and he's holding his own on a record with 50 Cent and Eminem. Like, Lloyd Banks had a standout verse on there that was just like, he already had the victory verse from the mixtape, but that Don't Push Me verse is another one that's just crazy. Gotta Make It to Heaven was the official closeout record of the album. Lord, grant me the serenity, step the things I cannot change. Give me the wisdom, change the things I can, and wisdom know the difference. The AA to make you say that. That's the prayer they put in your head when you encase that. Like, I just, fucking great wordplay and just everything about it. You're Not Like Me, which was that on Guess Who's Back? I think it was on Guess Who's Back. If you get shot running the cops, you're not like me though, you're not like me. 50 Cent hooks was just so melodic and great at the time that it's just like, dude, this shit was just amazing. To think that this album was released, it was pushed up, first of all. It sold 800-some thousand records in the first week. In the following week, it sold 800 more thousand records. Like, it didn't have a drop. You know how crazy that is for a new artist or any artist at the time to sell 800,000+ your first week and sell another 800,000 your second week? That's like, usually artists, for those that don't really understand, usually artists first week, especially now, let's say they sell, a good artist 150,000 records. Their next week, they're dropping 70%. Period. 65, 70% dropping because the hype is dead died down, and now fans are just picking. I like this song off the album. I ain't really like the album, but I do like track 5 and things of that nature. But to have an album that drops in 800,000 plus the first week, and then the second week you hit another 800,000, insane. It's just a great comeback story, man. Like, and we believed it. Like, 50 Cent is one of those artists that we just believe the story. Like, the story was just so great. You mean tell me somebody got shot 9 times, came back, and the aura of just boo boo that we hear in the neighborhood, well, in this neighborhood, that like, yeah, he was doing what he said he was doing, is like, it just added to everything. And to be backed by the biggest rapper at the time, by Eminem. Eminem's coming off of the Eminem show. Like, he's literally just coming off the Eminem show. 50 Cent's been brought on to the Anger Management Tour. He hears Guess Who's Back mixtape because his manager, Paul Rosenberg, like, stop everything and like, let's focus on this kid and get this album out. And then to bring Dr. Dre in, who's obviously the fucking godfather of gangster rap. Who else will understand 50 Cent if it's not Dr. Dre? Like, he gets it. So to have him come in with his mastermind, producer mind, and have both of these huge artists just back this guy and lace him with some of the best production and just the best all around tracks, like just picking the songs on the album was just, you can't ask for anything better, man. Let me get into my favorite songs. Mini Man, obviously, I can't take that away. How the Time. It's so tough to pick 3 songs off this classic fucking album. Today I'm gonna pick Poor Little Rich. Today I'm gonna pick that record. There's just something about it. I'm feeling that one more today. Next week I'll have a whole different 3 of favorite songs on the album. Worst song, The Coin Drops. I know. Worst song, I'm gonna go with Bloodhound. I go Bloodhound. Best lyric, shouldn't throw stones if you live in a glass house, and if you got a glass jar, you should watch your mouth, cause I'll break your face. Have your ass running mumbling to the Jake. You going against me, dog. You're making a mistake. I split your lead looking like the Michael Jackson jackets with all them zippers. I'm the boss on this boat. You could call me Skipper. The way I turn the money over, you should call me Flipper. Go get your regular bitch. You calling a wifey. I fucked and feed her fast food. You keeping her icy. I'm down to sell records, but not my soul. Snoop said this in 94. We don't love them hoes. I got pennies for my thoughts. Now I'm rich. You see the 20 spinning looking mean on the 6. Niggas wearing flags cause the colors match their clothes. They get caught in the wrong hood and filled up with hoes, motherfucker. Yeah, I'm gonna just go with that. Let's wrap this shit up though. Hey, you wanna hit this shit? In closing, Get Rich or Die Tryin' is one of the greatest albums of all time. I'm gonna just say that. I'm not gonna just put it in the hip hop category. It's one of the greatest albums of all time. Again, if you didn't live in that era, and if you did live in that era looking at this, you understand the impact of 50 Cent and this album. Like, dude had a video game, bro. Like, he had this album so big, he got a video game dedicated to himself and that played only his music in it. And it's hard to find. You could put this album on today and still feel the same way. Well, I could put this album on today and still feel the same way I felt when I heard it at 12 years old. And that says a fucking lot. So, and it opened up so many doors for us, not only his career, his friend's career, to movies, vitamin water, video games, TV shows, Power, Full Life. It's so many doors that this album opened up to, and it's not many albums that, and it's funny that we could have a classic off. You could get your favorite hip hop album, your classic joint. We could go from the Illmatics to the Ready to Dies, the Life After Death, the Reasonable Doubt, College Dropout, anything, the Kendricks, anything you want to put. Play this right after you and be like, damn, I don't know if that's better, but that's just me, and we could do that. I'm willing to have that debate in the comments of like, what you gonna say is better than this? Play it, and I'm gonna play this after, and you're gonna change your mind. I'm just happy to have this in my collection. As soon as I finish this, it's literally going back on my wall. I literally had to take it off the wall to do this, and I'm mad because it's been there for like years. So 50 Cent, Get Rich or Die Tryin'. It's time to put this record back on my wall. Tatum, peace.